Yo, what's up my fellow brethrens? It's your boy Elusiive and welcome back to the channel. And in this video, we're going to be showing the best settings in Black Ops 6. These are the settings I've been using since they updated the sensitivities in Black Ops 6 to where they changed it from 6 and 7 and just flat numbers to now like 1.5, 4, 3 and everything else like that. Honestly, these are the best settings I came up with and I found that they're actually pretty damn good. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and sub if you're new. But now that's over, let's get into these Black Ops 6 settings. Alrighty brothers, starting with the button layout, I'm running tactical. I feel like tactical is the best to run, definitely if you have a normal controller, which I have an elite controller, so I have two buttons from my slide, which is my analog and my back paddle, and I also have jump on my back paddle. I usually use my back paddle to slide, and to dive I usually use my front paddle, but it doesn't really matter. I go back and forth between those. I just feel like the ability to slide with the analog makes your accuracy more consistent because you don't have to take your finger off the analog to slide. So that's why I feel like tactical is the best layout. So run this because it allows you to have faster reaction practically. Sliding is the majority of the advanced movement you're going to be using the entire time. It's going to be the most used over everything else due to all the things you can do with it, like combo it with other things like slide then a jump or whatever the case may be. So tactical, the best in my opinion. Horizontal, I'm running a 1.7 and vertical I'm running a 1.5. This I feel like is the best section. This is around like maybe a 7.5 sensitivity or so, somewhere in there for the old sensitivity before they changed it. And I feel like this is very solid. It's somewhat fast so you can turn on people if they're shooting you in the back, but slow enough to where your sight isn't just zooming past people and you start missing your shots. And I feel like these are definitely the best sections, but you want to stay in between maybe a 1.4 the minimum and the maximum maybe a 1.8 or 9. I feel like 9 is somewhat pushing it, but if you guys like high sensitivities you can go to a 1.9, but I wouldn't pass a 1.9 in my opinion, but it's all up to you. I didn't touch any of these settings, but if you guys have like a normal controller and you guys want like a faster shot reaction speed, you can always change your ability to shoot and aim to your LB and RB, so you can enable this if you'd like, but I never do this because I'm fine with RT and LT. But if you guys want a faster ability to shoot, then you can swap it. It's all up to you. Controller vibrations, turn it off. It doesn't help you in any way. It makes your controller battery die faster, and it also makes your accuracy a little bit more inconsistent due to the controller shaking. The dead zones, I run a 5 and a 6, 5 for the left stick, 6 for the right. Due to my controller being a little bit older, I get stick drift, so that's why I have it on 5 and 6, but honestly, you want to go as low as you can before you start getting stick drift. So whatever number that is, go with that. I run 75 so I don't have to extend my analog all the way for it to get to the maximum. So in other words, I don't have to go all the way up for it to pick up that it's at the maximum. I can go somewhat, and you guys can see it's at the maximum, and it's not even fully extended. This just makes it to where the game will pick up the maximum faster practically. Left trigger and right trigger both 0. You want the game to instantly pick it up. Sensitivity multipliers, I didn't touch this at all. For the aiming advanced settings, I go back and forth between instant and gradual. Gradual just makes it to where the sight gradually aims in rather than instantly. It goes back and forth because instantly sometimes can throw you off because of the target assist. If you instantly aim in while next to them, it'll make it kind of like harder to line your shot up, or you might have to readjust your sight to aim on a person, but gradually it kind of aims in a little bit slower, so you have more time to line your shot up or line your sight up before it fully aims in, if you get what I'm trying to say. So test out instant and gradual and see which one you like better. I kind of go back and forth. I don't know which one I like better yet. For the aim response curve type, I run dynamic because the game picks up the micro movements. That means like when you slightly move the analog, the game actually picks it up. Makes it to where you can be a little bit more accurate. So if you guys have very precise fingers, you probably want to run dynamic because your accuracy be a lot better in game. But if you guys are less accurate or have shaky hands, you'd probably want to stick with standard, or you can run dynamic and try to get used to it and adapt to it to get better and become a better player. It's all up to you. It is going to take something to get used to. You guys are just going to have to practice a little bit. As I mentioned in my last video, if you guys haven't seen it already, on how to improve your aim or how to get godly aim, if you guys haven't, I'll probably leave it in the comments or the description, or you guys can just click on the channel and see it. It'll be like the second video down. For the custom sensitivities per zoom, I run a 0.8. Honestly, the best place you want to be is a 0.7 to a 0.9. For the custom sensitivity per zoom, I run 0.8. I feel like this is very good with the settings that I have for my horizontal and vertical. But if you guys run a slower horizontal or faster, then you can easily adjust this multiplier to about 0.7. I feel like 0.7 is the lowest. You could go 0.65, even probably 0.6, but I feel like 0.7 is probably the sweet spot and you don't want to go lower than that. And then the maximum around maybe like 0.9. But I feel like 0.8 is probably the best spot in the game, of 0.75. But you guys could adjust this and test it and see which one you like better. But in my opinion, definitely the best spot if you're running the settings that I'm running. For the ADS sensitivities for the ×2, 3, and the high zoom and everything like that, I run a 1.3. The reason I did this is because I wanted my sight to move faster when it came down to my snipers or when I have a bigger zoom. And sometimes I run a smaller scope on the snipers where it's like a ×3 or something. So that's why I had like a ×3 on like 1.3 and everything else at 1.3, because sometimes I'd change the optic when I was definitely going for the camos. So that's why all of them are 1.3. But since my sensitivities are somewhat slow because I want it to be more precise, that's why I run a 1.3, so my sensitivities can be slowish and I can be more accurate, but also have a fast zoom when it comes to my snipers to snatch onto enemies that are trying to move fast or dodge my sight. Because a lot of times when they see a sniper, they're trying to slide, jump, do everything they can to get out of your sight. And that's why I kind of boosted this so I can keep up with their speed. Now into the movement section. For the sprint assist, I run tactical sprint assist. Makes it to where I'm always tactical sprinting. You would actually want to turn this off when it comes to like shotguns or snipers if you guys are trying to like get camos and stuff done, because you cannot shoot from the hip at all. It has like some delay or a problem to where it will not allow you to shoot unless you're standing still. And you never want to stand still, as I mentioned in every single video. So that's why you'd want to turn this off if you're trying to get like camos or use a shotgun or sniper and shoot from the hip if it happens. But if you're not doing that and you're using a gun that's fully automatic, I forgot to mention, it's a problem with single tap weapons. But if you're running a fully automatic tactical sprint assist, definitely you want to run. You'd want to turn off the sprint assist delay, because I think it starts on like 5 or 10. Which makes it to where the game won't pick up a tactical sprint unless you go a certain distance on your analog, I guess you can say. I have all these assists off. I turned off corner slicing because it made my accuracy a little bit more inconsistent, because my sight always turned every time I got close to a corner, and it just made it harder to remain more accurate. Definitely when I try to like slide around a corner and aim at somebody and just straight fold them, sometimes my sight would tilt to the side because it was doing the corner slicing thing, even though I didn't want it to do that. So that's why I turned it off. But some people have it on. If you guys want it on, keep it on. For the sliding / dive behavior, I run tap to slide. I know a lot of people run hybrid. I tried a hybrid, but I just couldn't get jiggy with it, so that's why I didn't run it. But if you guys are used to hybrid, or you guys can adapt to this, then run hybrid. It is the best of all of them. Another good one would be slide only, because if you guys don't care to dive, or you guys don't use dive at all really, then just go with the slide. Because sometimes, since the tap to slide still has the ability to dive, sometimes I'll hold my slide button by accident because I panic or something, and it'll make me dive, which will get me killed sometimes. And if that happens to you, slide only will probably be good, because it removes the ability to dive altogether. But it's all up to you. I feel like tap to slide's good, slide only is good, and hybrid's good. Just depends on whatever you're looking for. I didn't touch any of this. Automatic airborne I have on partial. You can turn it off if you'd like. Slide, maintain, sprint. If this is normally off, you want to turn it on. This just makes it to where you retain your speed after sliding. I didn't touch any of this. Advanced movement settings. I don't think I touched any of this. I don't recall if this is on single tap to run or not, but if it is, keep it. If it isn't, slap it on single tap to run. And that's the end of this section. Now onto combat. I didn't touch any of this at all. For the advanced combat, I didn't touch any of this. You can change the interact / reload behavior to prioritize reload if you guys are playing like multiplayer. For Warzone or something like that, you'd probably want to go with prioritize interact, because it'll interact over reload. But I feel like reloading is just more important in my opinion. Definitely if your gun is out of ammo, like why would I want to open a door instead of reload when I could just run through the door and hit reload or some crap like that. And that's the end of the controller settings. Now let's get on to the graphics. I run 120 hertz because I play on the Xbox Series X. I run 1440 120. If you guys somehow have a big beefy monitor and can run 4K 120, then you do you. But if you have an option, hertz is always better than the resolution. But yeah, that's the only thing I really changed. Onto the qualities. Of course, you want all of this off. Every single blur you want off. Depth of field you want off, because it's just another form of a blur when you're aiming down. For the fidelity, you can run, I'd say 70 is a good spot. That's where I'm usually at, but I know some people that max it all the way out. But I feel like you wouldn't want to really go below 60 or 50. I feel like 70 is a good sweet spot, but if you guys want to max it out, you can. So it just makes it to where your visibility is a little bit better. Now onto the view. For my FOV, I run 108. I used to run the maximum 120, which is good. It has like the ability to see a lot more than 108. But the problem is that the enemies are a lot smaller with 120, which makes it a little bit harder to remain consistent when it comes to your accuracy. Due to the enemies being smaller, it's a lot harder to track. And since that's the case, I decided to drop it to 108. I feel like 108 is actually probably the best spot, maybe 108, 110, somewhere in there. You can drop it to 105. I know a lot of people run 105. It's pretty damn good. 105 is probably the lowest you want to go. Anything lower than that, I feel like the screen is too small and you have a lot less visibility when it comes to the wideness of the screen. That's why I ran 108, because I feel like 108 is just the best spot right along with 110. Stay around in that area, 105 minimum, like I mentioned. But if you guys don't care and you want to run 120, then you do you. For the ADS field of view, Affected just makes it to where you remain at your FOV. So say if you had your FOV at 120 and had your ADS on independent, it would drop your FOV to about 80 or 90, whatever the default is, which it makes it to where you can see the opponent. It just gets rid of your ability to see everything else around it because the screen is now extremely zoomed. So that's why Affected is the best. For the weapon field of view, you want to run wide because it makes the weapon smaller on the screen and it gives you more screen. I didn't touch any of this. You want to make sure that your camera movement is on 50% because that's the lowest you can go to. This just makes it to where when explosions from streaks or grenades or whatever don't shake your screen as much, which will allow you to remain accurate. And I run inverted flashbangs so I don't get retinal damage and go blind by getting hit by 1500 flashbangs a game. This just makes it to where your screen goes black instead of white. Now onto the audio, master volume 100 of course. For the music, I just dropped. You can go all the way to 0 if you'd like, but I just put it at 10 just for something in the background somewhat when I'm chilling or waiting. Dialogue, I dropped about 70 to where it's loud enough that I can hear when people are talking, but not too loud to where it overclouds or overshouts bullets or grenades or footsteps or whatever the case may be. Effective volume, I dropped to about 90. Just makes it to where the effects in games aren't as loud like grenades or whatever. I feel like this is a solid spot. Enhanced headphone mode on. Audio punch, I run Soccer Punch. Just makes it to where the dynamic range is more tightened, which kind of helps out with the audio in my opinion. Before I was running headphone boost bass, which is also good as well, which both help out with the audio. Either one would be fine, but I just decided to run Sucker Punch. I didn't touch any of this. The configure frequencies for the hearing, this is what I'm running for my left and right. They're both the same. This just makes it to where it's a little bit easier to pick up the footsteps and the other frequencies aren't as loud. So like higher pitched sounds aren't as strong, so they don't overcloud certain noises like footsteps. So I'm able to hear footsteps over like grenades or whatever the case may be due to higher frequencies. So in other words, the lower the frequency is kind of like a low bass, and then the higher is like a hee, like you get what I'm saying. So it's a little bit hard to describe, but this is what I'm running. And for the hitmarker preset, I run classic, but you can run whatever you'd like. And for the voice chat, I didn't touch anything besides voice chat audio output. I put it on speakers because of I'm a content creator and I want people's voices to get picked up on my Elgato just for reactive content. But this is what you want it on. If you guys are a content creator, you want people's voices to get picked up in your recordings, you want it on speakers, so the Elgato picks it up. Now onto the interface. I didn't touch any of this besides server latency, just to know what my connection is, just to see if I'm lagging or not. Now for the readability, I changed the color customizations. You guys can change this to whatever you'd like. I just chose colors to where they're easily spottable. So enemies on like a very bright color, as you guys can see, I have it damn near like a pink because it's easy to see definitely in dark areas. I have my teammates on like a bright green so I can see their name easily as well. Party on a bright blue so I can see them easily as well, and I have on a contested as a red because it's completely different from all the other colors. And a bright red, you can tell quite quickly through the walls and you see, oh, it's red, enemies are on there. Now onto the gameplay hub. For the hub presets, I run standard. You can run whatever you'd like. I just like standard the best. For visuals, I have minimap on square. Square is better than circle, as you guys can see in the demonstration. Square has more map. For the compass, you can have it on the minimap as it shows like right above it, or you can have it at the top of the screen, or you can turn it off. It doesn't really matter. I don't really use the compass. For the minimap rotation, I have it on just to see where my arrow is and how the map's turning when I move. For the scale of my minimap, I changed it to 120 so my minimap's actually bigger, which I actually showed this in my accuracy video on how to improve your aim or whatever. This just makes it to where the minimap is actually bigger on the screen rather than smaller. If you decrease the number, the minimap gets smaller. If you increase the number, the minimap gets bigger. I feel like 120 is one of the best spots because the map is big enough to where you don't have to look all the way to the side or stare at it because it's too small. I feel like it's just the best for your eyes. But you guys can test this out and see what you guys like. But I feel like 120 is a sweet spot. I didn't touch any of these things. The minimap opacity, I dropped it down to like 90 just so it's a little bit more transparent. All right, now back into the game hub again. For the crosshairs, I changed to static. This just makes it to where your aiming cross doesn't move. So if you guys were to jump, for example, your crosshair would move if you had it on. So it would move while your character is moving. But on static, even if you jump or slide or whatever the case may be, the cross remains in the same spot, so it doesn't move. And it also can help out with motion sickness if you guys have that. But this, I feel like, makes it to where you're more accurate because you can already have your sight pre-aimed on where you're going to aim at after you're done or finished jumping. And I feel like static just makes it to where you have more consistent aim because the cross isn't moving. You'd also want to change your centering dot to larger rather than default, because as you guys see, default's the little small dot, larger's the medium size, and the largest is the bigger dot. I feel like the bigger dot, the largest one, you'd probably run on like a gigantic TV or whatever, but I play on a 27-inch monitor, so I play on larger. I feel like this is pretty solid, but if you guys want to go with largest, you can, but I feel like larger is definitely better than default because it allows you to line your shot up more and center more. And you guys also can change the crosshair to any color you like. If you guys feel like the white is just not very visible, or you feel like it's just okay, but you can do better with a different color, then go ahead and change it. You can go to whatever color you like, red, blue, pink, whatever you feel is the best for your visibility, go with. For the hit marker visuals, I didn't touch any of this stuff below, and everything else is normal. I didn't touch none of this. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. Let me know down in the comments about these settings, and what do you guys want to see me post up on next in Black Ops 6. But yeah, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to slap on the post notifications so you miss the latest and greatest videos. And I'll see you later, guys. Peace.